Hey everybody, it's Steve here from the South Australian Judo Academy. I've been getting flooded with messages from people saying, hey, what's some at-home footwork drills that I can do to get my feet up to scratch? So today I'm going to run you through some drills that will help you with your judo, jiu-jitsu, MMA, any sort of martial arts. Footwork for grapplers is arguably one of the most important skills. Unfortunately, it's the most neglected. One of the reasons for that, I think, is that it's such a complicated skill and it's so free, such a free form, as opposed to, say, shadow boxing for a boxer or a kickboxer, that sometimes we don't know where to begin with it. My number one tip is keep it simple. If you find yourself going through videos trying to find the most complicated one and you keep going, this is not hard enough, this is not hard enough, then you've lost the purpose of this. This stuff is supposed to be super simple. Okay, so that's what I want you to focus on, really fundamental skills. And then when we go to our sparring and stuff like that, we'll be better at the more advanced skills. So for today, you can see this shape here that I've drawn on the mat. That's what you're going to have to do. So you need some tape at home. They're about shoulder width apart, okay, and it's about 1 meter here. All right, so I've got two here that are shoulder width apart, and then I've done an X, then I've got a line through the middle here. My other tip would be, if you're joining in at home, if you've got a mat, take your shoes off. One problem with at-home training is a lot of the time we do it in the garage and stuff like that. We put our shoes on because we have to, but then what ends up happening is we end up with heavy feet, okay? And as a grappler, we always want to be sliding on the balls of our feet. So shoes off, if you've got a mat, draw this shape on the mat, and then you're ready to join in. Our very first exercise is just a bit of an agility one, and it's great to build up our ankle strength, but also start to, kind of wake up our coordination a little bit. What I'm going to do is I'm going to be bouncing on just one foot, and I'm trying to land that foot anywhere where there's a joint in the tape. There doesn't need to be any clear order, but I'm just going to hop from one joint to the next, okay? Occasionally, of course, you're going to be a little bit off, but we're just trying to, as much as possible, land onto that one there without the need to have to touch the other foot, and hopefully without being, too inaccurate. Once you've done one foot, moving through to the other foot. Cool? So that's our very first one we're going to work through. Our second movement we're going to work through is a shadow tsurikomi. So I'm going to use my right foot to begin with, and I'm going to follow it up the diagonal line. From here, I'm going to spin my back foot behind me and land it over on this other line. Now I'm going to repeat the process. From here, we can start to work left as well. Diagonal line, spin the leg around. Diagonal line, spin the leg around. So the 180-degree turn is something that every grappler has to master. My number one tip would be, if anything, leaning forward, never leaning backwards. Our next technique we're going to work on is an evolution of that. Okay, so we're going to start to put the two together. I'm going to go with the right, spin the back leg around. Now I'm going to go with the left. Spin the back leg around. Back to the right, back to the left. Accuracy is everything here. So I don't want to be going here, here. We're using these lines for a really clear purpose to make sure that we're very accurate with where our feet go. The next drill we're going to work on is a foot sweep drill, okay? So I'm on the balls of my feet again. My opponent's here in front of me. I'm going to step back and I'm going to follow that diagonal line. Now I'm going to sweep down the straight line to here. Come back. We're going to go the other way. Foot down the diagonal line, straight through. Back. Back the other way. Foot down the diagonal line, straight through. See how I'm using my hands as well? That's just so I'm starting to train that brain in, okay? The next drill we're going to do is another foot sweep drill, okay? So for this one, I'm going to have one leg forward, more like I would be in my fighter stance. And I'm going to have it on that middle mark here, okay? I'm imagining that my opponent is somewhere around here. I'm going to step to this diagonal line, and I'm going to push them. As I push, I'm going to lift them up onto their toes, and my back leg is going to chase them and sweep. Up. Back we come. Up. Back we come. The same deal, I'm using these as a reference point. I don't want to be going up, coming back over to here, okay? I want to be really accurate. Of course, we can do the same thing on the other side here, okay? I'm going to step, chase it up. And I'm using that diagonal, so I don't want to be going this way. I don't want to be going something crazy over here. I want to be using that line as my reference point for where to get my sweep. Our next drill is another foot sweep drill, another ashi drill. Again, I'm going to be in my fighting stance, so my right foot forward, my left foot back, okay? Or alternating, whatever you prefer, all right? Now, my very first step is going to be straight into the middle. So I'm imagining that my opponent's feet are there, okay? This is a drill for Ouchi gari, inside leg trip, okay? I'm going to step in here. I'm going to follow up the back leg behind me. It's pretty much where that joint is. And now I'm going to attack that leg that's right there by drawing the circle. Back I'm going to come. Again, in, sweep. Back I'm going to come. Same again. In, sweep. And of course we can do the same thing on the other side. In, sweep. So that's a great one for the Ouchi gari. The next drill we're going to be doing is for the Uchimata family of throws, okay? So again, I'm in my fighting stance here, one leg in the middle, one leg back, balls of the feet. My very first step is going to be here, which would be about where their toes are, just in front of their toes. And I'd get them up onto their toes here. My next foot is, I'm going to bring my leg in, and I'm aiming to hit it about here in the middle of their legs, here, with my toes pointing forward. The main problem I see when people do this throw is they keep their foot that way, okay, here. And now from here, I'm going to look forward and swing my leg up. You can put your hand down here for a bit of balance, that's fine for the drill. Going the other way, fighting stance, up, second leg in deep, up tight. Here, back again, fighting stance, up, second leg in deep. I'm only looking at this camera here so you can kind of talk to you. But from now on, it's all eyes forward. Here. One more time, up, second leg deep. Sweeping up here. Try to keep as much balance as you can. Obviously it's difficult because you don't have a partner there to help you. What we don't want to be seeing is that sort of stuff like that, okay? The next drill we're going to do is fantastic for tai otoshi, okay? So again, I can be either in my fight stance or back here, doesn't matter too much for this one. I'm going to step into the middle of their legs, if this was their feet here, up onto the toes. I'm going to drive this back leg in deep here, okay? Once I get that back leg in deep, hand all the way past. So this time I am going past the lines, okay? But the footwork is where I'm using these, okay? Up, back leg comes in deep, leg past, back out. The other way so you can see from here. Up, back leg comes in deep, through we go. The next drill we're going to do is really good for low seoi. So probably the most common mistake I see when people are doing a drop seoi is that they fall into the technique and they get to here and they don't have any real control. So they're basically just, they're just relying on gravity here and they're just kind of flopping and either their partner will hold them up or push them to their face or whatever. Here I need to be controlled, never leaning backwards, okay, and nice and balanced. So I'm in this position here, this low squat position. I'm going to drive up. And I'm going to land in that same position on the other side. Trying to be as accurate as I can to land on this line to here. So I want to avoid this sort of thing where my feet are all over the place. I want to be kind of as accurate as I can be. It's really important with this one here that I'm on the balls of the feet there. And the other thing that's so important with seoi is to remember when I drive, I want to be driving forward, not driving up. So that's why this drill is so good. Forwards, forwards. Our next drill is for Sasae to tsurikomi ashi. It's a blocking foot throw where we're going to block their ankle and tip them over. This throw I find is fantastic if you're up against a jiu-jitsu style person who can be really heavy feet and stuff like that. It's a great one for them, okay? So I'm in my fighting stance. I'm going to step to this line here. Now, as I bring this foot up, I'm going to hit their ankle, which is right here. And then I'm going to tip them over that way. Okay? I can turn around and do the same thing. In my fighting stance, I don't step here like I would for a forward attack. I'm going to step here. Block. Turn around, same thing, fighting stance. Over, block. That's all we've got time for today, everyone. Thanks for joining in with those. If you've got any questions or comments, make sure you let me know. But my number one tips, I say this over and over and over, don't do too many, okay? Perfect practice makes perfect, not practice makes perfect. So stick to like kind of that 10 to 15 rep range. Make sure you stay on the balls of your feet, never on your heels. And if you're not sure how you're going, either record yourself or ask somebody in your house to watch. It's amazing how sometimes somebody who doesn't even know the sport you're doing can realize you're not doing something right. They can be like, hey, I think you're leaning back too far, I think you're leaning forward too far, something like that. So stay tuned for some more exercises, but make sure you let me know how you went with that.